So if you follow Ford content and you've been online in the last week or so, then you know that there's been a lot of discussion about the lifter problems on these Ford trucks. I'm calling it the lifter gate scandal. Now, basically what's going on is on a relatively small number of vehicles with the 7.3 liter gas engine, there has been lifter problems to the point where the engine would have to be replaced. A lot of times under warranty, but getting closer or higher up in the mileage, closer to like, I don't know, 30,000, 35, 40,000 miles, there's been quite a few videos of these engines getting replaced with new lifters. Now, the reason that's going to be incredibly controversial is because this 7.3 liter gasoline V8 has been touted as the solution to the 6.7, where the reliability is going to be so much better and all that with the 7.3. Well, it turns out that there are some issues, and it's starting to present itself into the 30, 40,000 mile, which is kind of scary if you think about it. You keep one of these engines to the point where it gets out of the warranty. Well, that's not going to be a good thing. Now, the powertrain warranties do run a little bit further than 30,000 miles or 36,000. I do believe the powertrain warranty on this might be 100,000, but don't quote me. But yeah, I want to talk about my theory in this video on why I think these engines could be having issues. And this kind of come to my mind today because I just did the oil change on this truck, and I was really looking at the condition of the oil. Basically what I did is one oil life cycle. We have 5,700 miles on the truck. This is this engine's first oil change. Now, for me, I run off the oil life monitor. I know that's controversial. I know a lot of people will say you have to run 5,000 miles, no more. And you can run less. Like a lot of guys will just run 3,000 miles. Well, for me, if I were doing 3,000 miles, that would probably be a good sweet spot because I beat the snot out of my truck. But for a lot of guys, 3,000 miles could be really excessive. That being said, at 5,700 miles, I'm at about 9% left in my oil life. Well, I can keep running that thing for another 500-600 miles. I think the computer was saying I had another 700 miles. So I could be well into the 6,000 mile range for that first oil change and just be at like 2% or something like that oil life. And when it comes down to it, when you're talking about fleets and things like that, those fleet guys, they want to get as much as they can out of the oil, and they want to run the minimum manufacturer recommendations, which is going to be the Ford synthetic blend, the Motorcraft 5W30. Now, me, I've always ran better than that. I've always ran a full synthetic like an AMSOIL or something like that. But this time around, because of the issues with these engines, I stuck to the base level recommendations, and I kind of kicked it around. Maybe I go to a full synthetic, at least Motorcraft oil. But when I was there, I was like, well, how much is the full synthetic? And the guy behind the counter, I went to the dealer. The guy behind the counter at the dealer was like, it's not recommended. You know, that whole conversation. He goes, you can put whatever you want into your engine, but Ford recommends blend. If I were you, I'd put blend. That's exactly what he told me. Well, I just said, okay, you know what? How much is the difference? About $30 different. Just give me the blend. Whatever. First oil change, we'll roll with the blend. So I went ahead and purchased the blend, ripped the oil out of here, and I poured the oil into quart jugs. Now, when I poured the oil into quart jugs, I really noticed the condition of that oil was pretty beat. I mean, it was watered down quite a bit. It was thinned down or sheared down or whatever, and it was pretty dark. So I'm very curious now on the condition of that oil. Like, now we're going to go ahead and send the oil out for analysis, and I'm also going to send the oil to Ford Boss and see what he thinks. But I think a lot of these fleet trucks are the ones that are having the problems because, yeah, we run the minimum recommendations. We run the oil life monitor a lot of times. Maybe that's not going to be enough to keep that 7.3 running. Maybe to really keep a 7.3 Godzilla running good, you might need something like the best type of oil with the longest service interval, something like an AMSOIL or one of those other oils that Ford Boss is talking about. He's testing a lot of oils. He's on the quest to find like the best oil that money can buy, and I think it's probably like a Pennzoil or something, like a Pennzoil Ultra Platinum. I can't remember. You'd have to check his channel to know what the best oil is. But I don't know, guys. I don't know about that synthetic blend. So my theory on what's wrong with the 7.3 and the lifter scandal that's going on, my theory is the minimum recommendations might not be enough for this engine to have the failure rates that we would like to see. We're running a 5W30, where it's maybe it'd be better to have something a little thicker. We can't really deviate from the viscosity of the oil. You're not supposed to really be doing that. But, you know, when you look at the 6.7 Power Stroke, they got straight up 2 different viscosities of oil that they recommend. They've got the 5W40 and they've got the 10W30, which is kind of wacky, but basically straight up 2 different viscosities. They got a 30 and a 40 weight. So I'd be curious what would be the implications of running a 40 weight, not a diesel oil, but a 40 weight gas oil, a 5W40 weight gas oil, or 0W40 weighted gas oil, something like that. It's something like this. Will that void a warranty? I don't know. Technically, I think it might, because you are, again, like I said, deviating from the actual viscosity, whereas the brand of oil is not too big a deal. You could probably get away with running any type of brand that is recommended. So that's my theory. I think the oil gets thinned down. It looked pretty thin for the situation. Hey, Nate, what's up? Okay, here I come. So yeah, it looked pretty thin for the situation. But anyway, guys, comment below and let me know what your thoughts are. I gotta go ahead and get this oil sample sent out. We're just hanging out in here, gaming. Got the video game here on the TV, and I got my oil sample right here, so I'm gonna fill it out, and I'm going to go ahead and get it going. So anyway, my name's Sean. This is DS Trucks. Gonna get these videos out, oil sample sent out. See you in the next video. Over and out.